Hey everybody, and happy holidays. We got Ryan Dawson in the house. Ryan, how are you doing, my friend? Thanks so much for being here.
Good. Let me show you my offensive T-shirt of the day.
Yeah, what do you got for us?
It says "Jail them all." There's Johnny
Oh,
Somali picking cabbages behind jail.
look at that cabbage. Yeah, nice.
He'll be going to jail in February.
Is that going to? Are you going to put that up in your shop?
It's up there. Yeah, it's
Nice.
for nuisance streamers, and it's got Japanese and Korean on it.
Nice.
Basically says the same thing. Nuisance streamer.
Can you give us the story behind that for people who aren't aware?
He was the original ass wipe that came over to Japan as a YouTube / Kick streamer, because Kick will just monetize you being an asshole. So you can make a career out of being a dick to people. And he did all kinds of outlandish stuff, like yelling at a middle school kid about Hiroshima and Nagasaki on the train, saying they'd do it again and stuff. Kid barely spoke English. And yeah, just playing loud music in restaurants and harassing people and being a fool. In Korea, he took a rotten dead fish and was chasing around old people and making them smell it. He played North Korean music on a bus. He went into 7-Eleven with like ramen and just started screaming and throwing noodles at people and stuff. Poured it all on the floor, just breaking all the little minor laws he could and filming it to get reactions. Crank called police. He stripped down to his underwear and started humping a comfort woman child statue. Like, what? Why would you just want to piss everyone off? There's a statue for rape victims.
Oh,
and he went to a child one and started like dry humping it, twerking on it. He made deep fakes of Korean girls of himself kissing them and stuff, which was like is totally disgusting. But the only way to ever kiss anybody is an AI. In Korea, and he blared on loudspeakers in Lotte World, which is kind of like Disney World, that he wanted to butt rape little kids and act like, oh, I don't know what it means, what it's saying. And he had it on a loop just over and over again, blasting. They had to shut the rides down and deal with it.
really?
I was just like, he's been knocked out a couple times too. My friend knocked him out in Japan, knocked his cameraman out too. As soon as he got to Osaka, he got beat up. But when he was up in Tokyo, they just tolerate that. They don't know like how to deal with someone like that because no one acts like that in Japan. So all these copycat people came afterwards, started doing pranks and exercises they're doing pull-ups on the shrines and playing loud music on the trains and buses and stuff. You gotta understand, like, East Asia is not New York. You can't just come on and do performance art on the train. People sleep on the train.
Right.
You don't steal flowers out of graveyards and stuff. Like, nobody acts like that. No one even acts like that in America, stealing shit from a graveyard, you know? So all of this wave of nuisance streamers would come in because Kick would pay them. Kick would pay you to go do outlandish stuff. It really, the first people to ever do it was Jackass. If you go wait, they played like Nerf football inside a store and were like knocking stuff over.
Yeah, right.
But Jackass was rigged. Like, they paid people and had them react, and the whole thing wasn't. They didn't actually just go and do that, but it looked as if they did that. And then I guess you could say Logan Paul came over and did some stupid shit. And I mean, he went to a suicide forest and filmed a hanging person. He seems to have regret, at least, for acting that way. He's banned from Japan too. Somali went to jail for like 3 months, came out and apologized. The moment he left Japan, he took back his apology and just shit on the country. And then he comes over. He did some crap in Israel and then South Korea. South Korea's having none of it. So he's basically been on trial for about a year because he committed so many crimes, and then he committed crimes in between his hearings. So that he keeps getting more slapped on. But it's the deep fake charges that are going to get him the most jail time.
Wow.
So,
wow. Do you know how much jail time he might be looking at?
Max is 12 years. It looks like he'll get The minimum's only like 6 months or something, but he ain't gonna get the minimum. He will get nothing mitigated because all his charges are aggravated because he's shown no remorse, no apology, and he even tried to. His lawyer sucks, man. They said not guilty and then okay guilty. Like they just don't know what they're doing. Yeah. He tried to argue about the day something happened. It was like, dude, that doesn't matter. Like, did you do it? Like,
wow. And sorry, what's his name again? The streamer guy?
His real name is Ramsey Khalid, but he goes by Johnny Somali. He's a piece of shit. He's about 5 feet tall. He smells like crap. He came to court late and hungover. His first court hearing, he was late and hungover. Might have been drunk. This video of him puking on the floor, then he'd like suck the puke up off the floor. So degenerate. He lives with his Korean boyfriend named Hank. Hank Yu. He's a piece of shit too. But Hank just enables and encourages it. He doesn't break the law himself that much, but he's certainly been enabling it. He got chewed out by a cop last month. They went in the private room, but right before the door shut, you could hear the cop just start going off on him. Yeah. Wild. He's just... One time, Hank started yelling at reporters that weren't there. They recognized me when I went there. They're like, Ryan Dawson. And so I was like, yeah, I hate you. And he'd seen that I was on the Tate Brothers show, and he was saying something. He smelled so bad, though. I was like, oh, God, why would you come to court like actual shit in it? He smells like shit. And anyway, they were going down the steps instead of the elevator because they didn't want to get in the elevator with all of us. You know, it was me and a bunch of other people who hate their guts. So they're going down the stairs, and Hank and Johnny are like going down the stairs first. Hank rounds the corner and he starts yelling. He's like, no pictures, no questions. And like, as if there's reporters down there. There's no one there. Like, nobody cared. There's maybe like 7 people showed up to be like, you're a piece of shit. That's it. You know, the hearings aren't that exciting. And usually if that were to happen, it would not be in the courthouse. It'd be once you get outside, right? They're not going to go in. And we're quiet because we're in a courthouse. So we're just going down the stairs, waiting until they get outside, and then you can yell at him and stuff. But anyway, yesterday he threatened to like rape some guy's wife and steal his kids. It's like he wants to be in jail.
Yeah.
Or he just has no governor in his brain. Like, hey, why did you call the police for a $5 shekel chat? Idiot.
Oh shit.
And it's really hurt relations with Black people in Korea and Japan, like all of them. Because
really?
Yeah, like as soon as you're loud at all, you know, they're like, oh God, another one of these. That's how bad you can hurt all foreigners' reputation. It hurts all foreigners' reputation, but especially Black foreigners. Like that's what he's done. So every Black person should be double mad at him because they used to be very well liked. Like they had a good, a positive stereotype, like athletic. All they see is the famous Blacks. So you get to be that. Same with whites. Like they think you're better than most of you are. Like that's the joke. Be the American Japan thinks you are.
Yeah.
And most people who come to Japan or Korea want to and already like the culture. That's why they're there. So they behave. But now we have this generation of people coming over being like, you can just fuck off and they won't do anything. Because they are not used to people just running around yelling in stores and stuff. Nobody acts like that. Nobody.
Well, yeah. Well, obviously it'll stick out, right? If they're just acting a fool.
It's like going to America in the 50s. You know, like everyone's well behaved and somebody's in the mall just screaming. They're like, what happened? Is this person crazy? Like,
what's going on here? Cool. Well, thanks for filling me in on that. First thing, I guess we'll
little East Asian drama. Some people, I mean, a lot of your audience will know who that is, though. They're like, oh, that guy. I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember people. I don't know if it was him,
but
I remember. Oh, really? Okay, I remember someone. I don't think it was him, but he was he was taking shit from, I think, Japanese graves and littering on them, and
I think it was
shit
some
like
Australian guy did that.
that. Yeah, I think that was him. Yeah. Like, fuck
But he's
that.
like, yeah, fuck him too. But he's nothing. Like Johnny started the whole thing.
Okay.
And I get mad at Kick. Like none of them would do it without Kick because they wouldn't get paid.
Right. Yeah.
Kick will pay you to commit crimes on camera. They did ban Johnny after a lot of pressure. So he went over to Party. And, Party doesn't care. And they asked me to come to Party. I'm like, no. You have Johnny Somali? No, I ain't going to help your platform.
Fuck, Party. Never heard
You
of
can
Party.
eat a whole bowl of dicks.
Yeah, fuck that, right? That's ridiculous. And you're all about platforms, right? You are.
I've been banned on. I have Rumble.
Yeah, we got him here. If you don't mind, I'm gonna pull up on your website.
We made a thing. I got to update that because a couple more things have been thrown off of. But
it's good that we talk about this because I did want to ask you.
So what is that first one? Instagram? I don't even know the symbol.
Yeah, that looks
anyway, Instagram and Facebook and Venmo and whatever that is. What is that? Parler or something? YouTube, Twitter. Although I got that back in 2023. Teespring and AOL and Discord and Teasley, Live League, Streamlabs, MySpace, GoFundMe, Daily Motion, Parler. That means that other piece, something else. Okay. Maybe is that PayPal? Whatever fuck it is. I've been kicked off it. Google AdSense. I got kicked off Pornhub, which is very hard to do. I wanted to ask you about
Pornhub before you continue.
So
how did that happen? You didn't like your dick pics, or what's that all about?
No. So I was like, if it has nudity, can it go on Pornhub? And so I posted a video I did about the Holocaust, and we put vintage and skinny as the category because it does have naked people.
Yeah,
they didn't like that. I did that on purpose. Like, I'm gonna post a movie about the Holocaust. It does have nudity, but if you're getting off on it, you're a sick fuck. But yeah, they didn't take it. I got kicked off of Nintendo too. Is that on there? That's a weird one.
That one's not on there. No, why did you get?
I made a stage on Mario Maker of 2 giant towers that were on fire with 5 dancing Goomba. On 9/11. It was a cool stage too. Like, yeah, but they didn't.
So what does that mean? You can't, like, what does it mean to be banned?
It would say it was September 11th, clearly. So I had 2 giant towers and 5.
No. I totally get that.
Yeah, I mean, why can't I make a stage like that? Like, on,
what does it
Mario
mean
gets to stop 9/11 or whatever, but they didn't think it was funny. So,
what does it mean to get banned from Nintendo? Like, you can't.
Yeah, they erased my stage, and I couldn't make Mario Maker stages anymore.
So, okay.
Yeah, it's no big deal. I'm sure I could just make a new account and they wouldn't know, but whatever.
Yeah.
Bluehost, that was bad because they were hosting all my stuff. And I'm like, why is my host kicking me off?
And do you know why they kicked you off? Did they give you a reason?
Because of my content, like because I was telling the truth.
That's so fucking ridiculous.
They get pressure. Jewish groups will go in and pressure you, get rid of this guy, get rid of this guy. And I'd already been cleared from all social media, but I still had a website. So they went after my website. Okay. And I had a nerd go in the back end and like, yeah, it's run by a bunch of Pajeets, and they try and upsell you on this like site lock thing that you have to get because they've gone in and sabotaged. They just added a bunch of ones to the ends of everything. All you have to do is erase the ones and your site goes back how it was.
Oh.
Like they just sabotage on purpose, and then they sell you stuff that will fix it, even though they're the ones that broke it. Well, anyway, says that Gumroad, that didn't last 24 hours. I think with Gumroad attaches to PayPal anyway, so it's useless, like, and PayPal has cyclically banned me. Kickstarter can't use. Indiegogo got banned. I still have $3,000 just sitting there since 2020 or whenever that happened, and they won't give it to me. And finally, for tax purposes, they're like, if you don't claim this, like it's going to go to the government anyway. after 5 years. I go, I can't claim it. And I go in through their help. I'm like, I already raised this. I understand I can't use this anymore, but this was already given to me. You can't just keep it. But they did. And Vimeo, I see Venmo. I don't see Vimeo on here, but that was a huge one. They took $6,000 from me, which is like a month worth of money. Oh, that's Vimeo.
That'd be there, yeah,
That
yeah.
V under Live Leak, yeah.
Live Leak? Okay.
Yeah.
What about Infowars? Did Alex Jones have a problem with you? Like, what?
Oh hell yeah, we're enemies.
Really? I didn't know that, Ryan. What's with that?
He's the worst, dude. He's almost as bad as Candace Owens with the kook shit, you know. So I had like Syrian Girl was a friend of mine. She got to co-host, or she got to host his show even. I mean, she was on with Paul Watson and mentioned me about the Syrian conflict, and they had to edit it out. Like, we are not allowed to talk about him. Like, you can't say it.
Oh my god,
yeah.
Really? Okay.
Look at how much Alex talked about 9/11. He's never mentioned me or my work or anything. He just keeps saying Building 7, blah, blah, blah. Same with JFK. He talks about Executive Order 1110, which is 100% wrong. And he fucking knows it's wrong. Like, Candace is dumb enough to believe the shit that's being said in her ears. Alex is not. He knows better, and he just lies anyway.
Really, eh? That's too bad.
I was also thrown off of Coinbase and a bunch of crypto exchanges, BitThumb and stuff. So like anything financial, I'm not allowed to use. And people are like, why don't you get crypto? I'm like, because in the early days, there's only a few exchanges, and I got banned off all of them. But crypto doesn't censor. I'm like, yes, they fucking do. And if you're like, well, you could get a hard wallet. I'm like, yes, I could get a hard wallet. And then what? If you can't cash out, what's the point?
Yeah.
And buy it where? Yeah, I'd have to get a wallet, and then I'd have to go get someone else who had a wallet and meet in person and have them send me money that then I'd have to go send to someone else's wallet, have them cash out, and on their honor hand the money to me when they could just walk away with it. Like, yeah, right.
Well, fuck them. That's
so yeah. But I got Twitter back.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Got Rumble. Although Rumble pays through PayPal, so that's useless. They used to give you a direct check. Now it's through PayPal. So I'm like, well, I can put videos out and people can send me money, but I have no way of cashing out. It just sits there on Rumble. And I've tried talking to them. I'm like, look, guys, I can't just make a different PayPal. I have like a person watching what I do. It's not bots.
Yeah.
And the moment I make one, they will come and take it. Oh, and if you got money on PayPal and they terminate you, they just steal it. It just sits there on the PayPal, but you're not allowed to cash out or do anything.
They probably have, they obviously have like it on their books somehow, some way that's like eventually.
Well, go ahead and sue us because that'll cost more than the money they took, you know?
Exactly.
It sucked losing that because it's all recurring payments I had built up over a course of about 15 years. Gone. All the contacts. And people thought that I banned them. I'm like, no, I didn't ban anybody. The same thing happened with Patreon. I was set to bake about $8,000 a month on that.
Oh, wow.
And
are you allowed on
that? Was like 6 or 7 years ago. Imagine what it would be today. And this is before Glenn Maxwell trial and the Ukraine war and all this stuff. I mean, that thing would have doubled. I'd be making about $16,000 a month. That's a lot of money. Dropped to zero, and everybody thought I kicked them off when I was the one who got kicked off.
Yeah.
And there's no way to contact. Same thing with Facebook. My own family was like, did you block us all? I'm like, no. And you can't get on and message people because you can't get on. You can't even tell people that you got banned. You just one day banned. And yeah, you can't use the message system or anything. Sucks.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, man. But I mean, you're still killing it. You're doing fucking awesome work.
That's awesome. It's cool, but like, imagine how huge everything would be.
Oh, I hear you, man. I hear you, man. I feel like you're
YouTube and an Instagram.
Through that wall, though.
If I had a PayPal. This is the thing, and I didn't break any laws or do anything. I'm not accused of breaking any laws or anything either. I don't have any. Like, I'm not on trial. I'm not being sued. I haven't even. No one said anything that is like said you did this or nothing. They just ban you for going against Zionism in an effective way. That's all it is. To learn who rules over you, right? See who you're not allowed to criticize. Well, they criticize Zionists, and they're like, it's anti-Semitism. That's their go-to thing.
Yeah,
Israel can't shoot babies, and you hate Jews.
Do you see that changing at all? Do you see it getting worse or getting better? Like, obviously, some people
it's getting worse because, like after the shooting in Australia, 2 Indian guys shot some Jews who were celebrating Hanukkah on a beach. I think 16 people, 15 or 16 people died. I've heard both numbers. It'll be 6 million soon, but it's like 15 or 16 right now. Yeah, it'll be like 50 or 60 and then 600. But they're going to blame that on Australia recognizing Palestine, and they're going to blame it on the Israel.
They're already blaming Australia. Yeah, they are.
It's like, dude, the reason people who hate Jews is because of how Israel behaves. And like, if you're going to conflate being a Jew with policies of Israel, it's a double-edged sword. For one, it protects you because it's like, well, you can't criticize Israel, you're criticizing Jews. But at the same time, well, if Jews are responsible for everything Israel did, then Jews all over the world are going to be targets because Israel's out there blowing up families, bombing hospitals and burying people alive and things like that. So if all Jews are responsible for what Israel does, then Jew anywhere can be killed. Israel created that. They're just celebrating Hanukkah. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
And one of the guys is dead, and the other one, I think he was in a coma, and now he woke up. 100% you're going to find out that they were radicalized by these intelligence-connected madrasas that farm cannon fodder to do terrorist acts so that it can react to them. That's what that is.
Do you think?
I know there's flights to the Philippines where they basically met with the Philippine wing of ISIS. But ISIS, who created ISIS? Who created Al Qaeda in Iraq? Who created OG Al Qaeda in Afghanistan? The CIA did.
Yeah.
And it's not a secret. I mean, it's Reagan's freedom fighters fighting the Soviets. Rainbow 3, right? That's Scott Horton calls it blowback. But I disagree with the word unintended. I think they're indifferent to the consequences because they're like, the more conflict and drama, the better. They get to be the savior, regardless. I bet if you did a poll, the CIA's got to have pretty low rating. Does anybody want them to exist? Like, it's just they're professional criminals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure your everyday schmuck would say, well, they protect us and stuff, right? But yeah, anyone with a head on their shoulders,
without the federal government, how would we build a road?
How would we put your roof on and put your gutters on? Yeah, fuck. Do you think
could a private company build a cell phone? There's no way they could build a flat asphalt. Yeah, no way.
Do you think Israel is aware that they might be putting Jews around the world in jeopardy by raising the temperature by their actions?
Yeah, and that's on purpose. Like, they want the diaspora to flee where they live and come to Israel to up their demographic. In the past, Israel has gone around and conducted terrorist acts themselves on Jews to get Jews to move to Israel.
And does that go into the greater Israel theory?
It's just weird. Well, kind of. Like, they want greater Israel. The Likud wants greater Israel. They need to have a majority Jewish demographic in Israel. And they're just not having babies as fast as Palestinians. Although they murdered probably 200,000 or 300,000, mostly children recently. Palestinians are going to outbreed them. And if you take new lands, like they've taken a piece of southern Syria, for example, now you need to populate it. So they're going to need more of. They really believe in this like racial supremacist stuff. So they need more of their kind to come settle on the land. They need more Jews to come be settlers for the West Bank and annex all of that land. And so they need their diaspora to come home. But it's not home because these Jews have no ancestral ties to like biblical Jews. These are Eastern European converts. Like they're all, they have their national anthem is from Romania. Nah, 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 nah. They didn't make that song. That's stolen from Romania. But many of their prime ministers were from Romania or Poland or wherever. Like none of them were born in Palestine. None. They're all from wherever. And they changed their names like to sound Hebrew. They're not. They're Yiddish at best. Like Hebrew, it basically died off. So I call them trans Semites. It's just white people role playing as ancient Israelites. And to be fair, you can't really be tied to biblical Jews. I mean, you can be tied to Jews from the Levant genetically, but there's no such thing as biblical Jews because there isn't. King David and King Solomon are fictional characters. They're not. King David's about as real as King Arthur. You know, there was no King Arthur in England. Some people think there was, but it's a book. And there was no King David who killed a giant named Goliath. And all that. There definitely was no King Solomon with his magic rings and temples and stuff. These wars didn't happen. They did not. Joshua did not go to Jericho and knock the walls down by playing trumpets. There's no record from any of their neighbors of this battle happening or anything. It's just made up stuff. So you can't really have lineage to King David when King David isn't real, but they try.
Fair enough.
But this one thing, like they believe these are historical figures in the way the Greeks thought that Dionysus and Achilles and stuff were real. They thought they were real, like real historical things that just have like exaggerated myths attached to them. Like, no, they're not real. Like it's 100% fake. There is no Noah's Ark. There was no Noah at all. The whole story of the flood and the animals is, I mean, if you're religious, you can think it's real, but it isn't. I mean, it's not. Like, it's not. There's no Noah. There's no Moses. Not till you get to about Josephus and Jeremiah onward, those are historical. Okay. Those people exist. Up in the New Testament, those people exist ish because they're not walking on water and stuff, but like this based on people who are real. But most of that New Testament is Paul made it up. And no one wants to hear that, but I'm like, okay, well, historically,
I want to hear it.
That's the truth. Like,
yeah,
it's not. You are stealing miracles from surrounding areas and calling them yours. Like the whole flood story, that's the epic of Gilgamesh. And Yahweh comes from, Yahweh is what they call God, Lord God in the Bible. It comes from the pantheon of gods that the Sumerians created. The principal god's name was El, and then his like brothers and then his children. And Yahweh's wife, who's no longer in the Bible, they removed her, but her name was Asherah or Astara, and they still have ashram poles and like you have the almond branches at Easter and stuff, and they have temples with her stuff in the Bible, the Asherim poles and the Asherim altar and the Asherim pillar and stuff, but she's gone. They call her a grove. So when you see grove in the Bible, that's what it means. And that because her symbol was a almond tree and almond branches, anything to do with almonds. Because in the Garden of Eden story, there's two magic trees. You have a magic fig tree, which became an apple tree through literature, but that's the tree of knowledge of good and evil that they ate off of. Then you have the astrum tree, the tree of life, which would grant you immortality that they did not eat off of. But that is Yahweh's wife, the goddess. That's why when he says, let us make man in our image, man and woman, he means me and you, Asherah and Yahweh, one female, one male. It still says let us, it still says our, and later says we, da, 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 da. But her name's gone from that. But she is referenced in other books. But the Garden of Eden story, she's been removed. Anyway, Judaism was polytheistic. Even in about half the Old Testament, it's still polytheistic. Like God says, ye shall not have other gods before me. Not other gods don't exist. I'm the only one. Just I have to be the main one. Don't have any before me. Like he gets in little pissing matches with Baal, Baal, who is another storm god, by the way. Yahweh was they thought of two types of rain. So there's like the good storm god that makes rain for the crops and harvest and things like that. And then there's the evil one who makes storms so violent it destroys and floods things. And Yahweh is that one. That's why he floods the world. In Genesis, he had not yet made the rivers, because if you look at the first chapter of Genesis, says God. That's the creator God. That's El. That's the one most high. Second chapter of Genesis, Lord God. Just changed Lord to rain. It's rain God. Then read that with rain God in mind and all the like water miracles and stuff he does, all the way to Revelations when Satan is pulled out of the ocean. It's this dragon, and what's he do? He shoots a torrent of water, not fire. It's a water god. But somehow this water god became the god of all. He's actually one of the 6 Satans. That's why he's talking to Satan and stuff. Like in Job, they're just sitting up there chilling. The Satan he was talking to is the Prince of Air. So there's a Prince of Water, Prince of Air, Prince of Earth. Very Final Fantasy like. But the Prince of Air is the Satan that people are more familiar with. But he's like a judge. But the water one is the one that calls himself God. And it's funny because it's on the 7th day, and you don't know how long a day is, but in 6 days, the Creator made everything. On the 7th day, he rested. On the day he was resting is when Yahweh gets up to all his shenanigans. And he ends up getting thrown out of the Garden of Eden too. And you know that because by the time Cain and Abel come around and they're making offerings to God and or offerings to Yahweh, and Yahweh plays favorites, he favors Abel over Cain. Where is he? Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel are all outside of Eden, and so is Yahweh. He's no longer there either because he got thrown out too for throwing them out. But that story of Cain and Abel is also an older Sumerian story, and it's an argument between the sheep and the wheat, or the animals and the crops, right? And they're arguing, well, like the sheep say, well, I provide wheat and clothing and my bladder for, this and that and shoes, da, 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 da. And the wheat says that they provide food and beer and all the things that wheat can do. And in that story, the wheat wins. Like they decide wheat is more valuable than the lamb. But in Yahweh's story, it's reversed. Because Yahweh is a death god. He's one of the Satans, like I said. And so murdering things, like murdering animals and blood sacrifice and ritual is what he wants. That's why he always wants a burnt offering, and he wants you to kill. There's animal sacrifice all throughout the Old Testament. So what you have in the story of Cain and Abel is you have Cain is the farmer who creates life. He grows crops. He's a life maker. And you have Abel who slaughters animals. He's a life taker. So the destruction of life is what Yahweh wants. The creation of life is what he does not want. And that was the story between the farmer and the hunter or whatever. And it's weird because later you have the opposite with Jacob and Esau, where the hunter gets punished because he couldn't find food one day and he ends up selling his birthright. And then Jacob lies to his blind father, and Jacob just lies and cons people through his whole story. Lies to his employer, tricks him out of his cattle, lies to his wife, lies. And this serial liar and deceiver is chosen to be Israel. Gets in a wrestling match with an angel. And let me ask you, what can wrestle an angel besides another angel? There's only one thing: a demon. The only thing that can hold up to an angel is a demon. Jacob's a demon. He is a deceiver. And they chose this demonic figure to be the founder of Israel, Israel, one who wrestles with God. So they didn't even say it's an angel. The Protestants say it's an angel, but some think it's God himself. So who can wrestle with God? The devil, only the devil. Like that's
Right.
it. So it's basically saying the devil or the son of the devil, that's Jacob. And he creates a religion of self-worshiping, greedy, deceitful Jews, where their entire value system is fucked. Like rather like Christianity, just because I'll just use that example. I could pick any religion because they're all similar, other than Judaism. In Christianity, the highest virtue is what? Truth, forgiveness, charity. They have a list, pretty good, agreeable things. In Judaism, it's like, no, there's no forgiveness. It's revenge. There's no truth. It's deception. It's whatever works. Definitely no charity. It's you keep it with the tribe, greed, like every virtue in any other culture that's ever been created. Usually be like courage. The number one virtue in Judaism isn't love. It's obedience. Obey God or you'll be punished. And it's obedience and pettiness and revenge and lying and like all things that other religions, that other secular philosophy, everything would consider to be bad is praised as good under Judaism. So of course you end up within Israel. Of course they're out there shooting babies and fighting Amalek and they think genocide's okay. It's in their holy text. That it is in their holy text, not love thy neighbor as yourself. It's kill your neighbor and take his stuff. That's like all the Book of Kings and Samuel and all that. It's about conquest of neighboring tribes and taking all their shit because God gave this land to me. Numbers and like all these old text is about Jews going around and slaughtering people and stealing their stuff. Whereas by the time of Christ, it is an absolute reversal where he gets rid of the benefactor class. This is why they killed him. They didn't kill him because he went around saying, love your neighbor and be kind. And that's not why. It's because he said the Father, not Yahweh, but the Father, sent me here as, you don't have to believe this, but this is a story, sent me here as the Savior and a path to salvation. And it's very clear that's what it is, not a king. They sat up on the mountain and said, I will give you all the kingdoms of the world. He said, no, because Christ is not king. He did not come to be a political leader. That's what Jews want. They want another King Solomon, another King David, another king. They want earthly like domination. But Christ is like, no, I am not a king. I'm here for salvation. You need to have a direct relationship with the Father. You do not have to go through the priestly class. You do not have to go there and give them coins. Like he went down and flipped the tables and whipped the money changers. Like he was absolutely against all that stuff. There's a book, there's one line in Revelations that calls him the King of Kings. So they're like, oh, Christ is king. Like, yeah, that was written by King James. Okay. But it doesn't fit his message. There's 30 or so lines that went against all that. Right. But that's what they do. And they like sloganeering Christ is king. I'm like, you guys aren't Christians, man. Like, Christ is Savior.
Picking
He's a
lines.
Savior. He's not a fucking king. Like that demotes him. A king is nothing compared to Christ. Like he didn't come to be a ruler. He came to show you how to behave. But so people think the Christian God, the Jewish God is the same. Like, no, he never calls him God or Lord. He calls him Father. And that's a much more, it's not a relationship. Like a father has authority over you, but it's not like the Lord, it's not slave and master, which is why the Hebrew, like speaking and Aramaic, they made that up is because they used to be slaves and Cyrus the Great set them free, not God, Cyrus the Great. But their whole worldview was that of domination of slave master. So they invented a religion where God is master and you're the slave. And it's very detrimental psychologically. I mean, they have a ritual where they mutilate your penis. They cut off the foreskin of a baby.
Yeah.
it's a blood ritual. Like, why would you do that? Like, why does your God want blood sacrifice and issues curses and stuff? Like, does that sound like a demons want death rituals? Demons want blood rituals. Demons want you to cut up your own son. The Father never asks you to do that. It's forbidden in Christianity to circumcise, although some Christians still do it because they don't read their own text. But go read Corinthians. You're not supposed to do that. Like you need like you need a priest to tell you that, like, hey, don't knife up your baby. Like, it's common sense, but it was necessary. They run around doing blood rituals and blood magic and burning fat. Look, the whole book of Leviticus is about how to murder the cattle and fowl, and then they have this red heifer society. Like, these people are
red heifer
up. Like, and you're like, well, this is all nonsense. I'm like, yeah, it is, but it's real. If enough people believe something is real, it doesn't have a physical reality, but it becomes real in the way like money is real. Money physically is just paper, but you and I know it's not just paper, because there's so much faith in money that it now has power to purchase and do all the things that money does. But it's all in our head. Like, if we all decided, oh, this is then it's gone. Well, that's how, like, these gods exist because people think they exist. Like, they have power, they affect culture, they affect how people behave. So it's as if they are real because they have a reality without being physically real. And so this satanic entity that they invented, they literally stole like the evil characters of another religion and made it their principal god. Like, and who would do that? Fucked up people would do that. 'Cause most people that lived in that area rejected that and joined some other religion or had no religion. But the people who gravitate towards deception and all the evil things in Judaism, then there's a rule that you can only marry other Jews. So all these wicked people just start breeding with each other, and the final outcome is Rabbi Shmuley.
Scarface Shmuley.
Who looks like a fucking troll. Like, he looks like a Jim Henson character. Yeah, he has no redeeming qualities. He's just this maniacal fanatic for Israel, which means slaughter all your neighbors and steal their land. Yeah. And yelling anti-Semite at everybody. Like, look,
yeah. Is it
true
that
they're not a race?
Is it true? Is it true?
It's a belief. It's a cult. And it's no different than, like, I don't like Satanists. Because if you believe, if that's your value system, you're fucked up. And if you follow Judaism, one, you're dumb. Like, if you think the earth was made in 6 days and all that, you're just stupid. And then if you really think that the stuff in the Old Testament is moral, you're wrong. You're fucked up if that's what you follow. Now, the flexible thing about religion is, as Forrest Gump might say, religion is as religion does. So you could be Jewish and just ignore all the shitty parts, which is like 99%, or do such mental gymnastics that you interpret it in a way that's no longer immoral. And you can do that with any text, right? Well, when it says beat your slaves, what it means is don't have slaves. I'm like, no, it meant have slaves. And you practice having slaves for about 2,000 years. That is definitely what it meant. But you can say the opposite, and people do. I mean, like, what Christian supports monarchy? None. They all have republics and democracy now, but it clearly has divine right of kings in the book of Romans. Like, so that's the thing about religion. Like, it is however it is practiced as. But what the text says is monarchy. And what the text says is it's okay to have slaves, indentured servants, all that shit's in there. But nobody today thinks you should be stoned to death for wearing clothes of two different types of material. Right. No one today, but there is some ancient dumb shit that people do follow. Like, you can't eat bacon. Like, yes, you can.
Right. Sure, you can.
I think it was Mark 17 or 7. Jesus cleared that up. Like, he doesn't enter the stomach; it enters your heart. So you can all the animals you can eat. Like,
damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that he cleared
that. That's why Christians can have bacon. Thank you, Jesus. That's one reform you can get. Yeah, it's Mark 7:16. I think I'm gonna look it up, bro. Nice.
Cool.
Oh yeah, here I found it. So again, Jesus called the crowd to him and said, "Listen to me, everyone, understand this. Nothing outside a person can defile him by going in them. Rather, it is what comes out of the person that defiles them." After he had left, the crowd entered the house of his disciples. Da, 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 da. Let's see. Okay, don't you see that nothing that enters a person from the outside can defile them? For it doesn't go into their heart, but their stomach, and then out the body. Saying that this, Jesus declared all foods clean. Yeah, I'm good, man. I knew the chapter. I didn't have confidence to say the verse, but I did say 16 before I
Oh,
looked
you're
it up.
cooking, motherfucker. You're cooking.
I know the Bible. I used to know it really well. I grew up a Christian. I went to I got confirmed a Methodist, but I also went to Catholic church too because my dad was Protestant, my mom was Catholic. Then I went to an Episcopalian boarding school. I had Old Testament courses, New Testament courses. And then I got a degree in philosophy, and part of that I studied a whole bunch of different religions. I'm actually wearing a Taoist necklace right now.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's a very interesting one. It's got the most text. They Lao Tzu, there's more written about Taoism than Judaism. And the Talmud's a beast. People are like, I read the Talmud. I'm like, no, you didn't. It's like a whole wall. It's like encyclopedias worth of books. Like all the Britannica. That's the Talmud. People have just read snippets out of it. And that is a messed up text. I'm like, who follows this shit? Like, you got to be screwed up in the head to follow that. It's just like a game of rationalization. Like it says some really disgusting thing. Like, okay, how can we spend this to be palatable? Why won't you just throw it out and be like, okay, this is wrong. Make up a new one. Or just live like, I don't know.
It's crazy. Like how I mean, now that this Israel Gaza thing's gotten so deep, I mean, everyone's using their own texts to justify their own actions. You got Netanyahu asking for a pardon before he's even charged with a crime. Like, where do you see this going now that we're in this weird, like, ceasefire, non-ceasefire stage? It's like, seems to be such a weird funk that, like, what do you see happening over the next little while and in the near future with this?
Unfortunately, I see them destroying Gaza. Like, nobody, they can't even get food in.
Yeah.
It's I think Norman Finkelstein was on something recently, and he said they have 4 outposts to deliver food. Only 2 are open, and only for 15 minutes. They're trying to starve them to death. And the world does all this abstract stuff like, well, we recognize Palestine exists. Okay, great.
Yeah.
You can't get aid in. Oh, I'm getting the Tate fights right now. Do you mind? I want to watch that. I'm getting a bunch of messages. Let's do this right afterward. I gotta see this shit. But Gaza, like, I know all these people saying Israel's about to collapse. It's not. Like, they've taken a piece of southern Syria. They're going to reinvade Lebanon. They want a rematch with Iran. That's not going to go well for them. But as long as America has their back, they can kill as many children as they want. And Trump, he's talking about war with Venezuela. He threatened Nigeria. All his peace talks have failed. The war in Ukraine is still going. There's now a war, sort of a war between Thailand and Cambodia. He tried to intervene. That made it worse. There's no statesman in his cabinet either. Like, there's no, we don't have like a Brent Swartkoff or James Baker. Or so. I'm not that I agree with these people. At least they were like adults. We've got Hegseth. We've got Narco Rubio. We got the most adult person in his cabinet, probably Tulsi Gabbard, I guess. But there's just no real brinkmanship at all. There's no statesperson there to do negotiations. Like, he's sending Steve Witkoff, the real estate mogul, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, son of a felon. And these are just pro-Israelite, hardcore Zionist Jews that you can't, they're not there for peace. Unless you spell peace with an I. I want a piece of this, a piece of that.
Do they want to? Do you think they really want to make it into like hotels and like a tourist destination?
Yeah.
Or what do you,
And Trump's dumb enough to say that out loud.
right.
Yeah. Like they want, like, this is beachfront property. Look what we could build. Like, you can't just, this isn't manifest destiny of Native Americans. You can't just murder people and steal all their shit. Like, you could just live with them if you want to build hotels. You could do that the way it's done everywhere else in the world. You know, just go buy a hotel and build it.
Yeah.
Like Hawaii, you know, Japan's built a bunch of hotels there, but they didn't murder the Hawaiians to do it.
Right.
They bought property and they built a hotel legally. You can do that. They could have bought every home in Gaza for far less than what it costs to steal, but they don't want them there. They want them out. It's a racist religion, isn't it? Intrinsically racist religion.
Right.
So is Hinduism, by the way. Just so I said no one else is as bad. Hinduism had a caste system based on skin tone.
They had a what? Sorry? Oh,
a caste system, like a ranking of what you could do based on like where you Brahmin or what. Like you have to. There's the untouchables on the bottom and stuff. They're like gingers, and just like it is dogma. You know, the gods said this is how it is, and but it doesn't match reality. It's messed up. Like if you're gonna have a religion, I'm fine with it, but it's got to be something. I'm okay with mythology and all that. If it has a positive effect on your culture. Like Santa Claus is awesome. It's not real, but it's a great story and it's fun and do it, you know. Happy birthday to you. You're not really making a wish, but customs and rituals are part of culture and they're necessary and they're good. I like this one, you know, I'm wearing it around. But it's or like Superman, you know. That's a positive character. It's good to emulate. He didn't there's no Krypton, he's not real. It doesn't matter. Like stories affect the culture and can do so in a positive way to bestow values. You know, the story of the origin of St. George, where the knight goes and he kills a dragon and all that didn't happen. But it's good for British people to learn. Gives them that sense of nationalism and values, virtuous values rather than the opposite. So I'm okay with mythology. I think you ought to tell people it is mythology, but it's fine to use Mother Goose stories or whatever to convey a moral point. Like the Three Little Pigs, hard work pays off, that they aren't actually talking pigs and stuff. And that is how these parables used to be. When Jesus is talking about fish and this and that, he didn't mean it literally. But people have taken it literally. These dispensationalist Christians have ruined that faith. They've turned it into like Harry Potter level wacko. So, yeah. Harry Potter itself borrowed from a bunch of myths.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Well, I can imagine.
The three-headed dog that sleeps to music and stuff. Like these are all she stole from Greeks constantly.
Yeah.
Remember that being a character in Kid Icarus. It's an old Nintendo game.
Oh, I don't remember that one. Okay.
It's one of the Guardians with a fire-breathing three-headed dog. Servius or whatever. But yeah, this was a different interview because usually I talk about not religion. We talk about
well, I mean, honestly,
Israel and Palestine is important. Like these people think that's their land and God gave it to them. You can't justify like why does Israel exist? Don't use religion. Go. You can't do it. It always comes back to that. They're like, well, such and such Jew was an atheist. They're like, first of all, not true. And Herzog and Herschel were not atheists. Sons of rabbis and all that. They were more secular than some of the other Jews, but they all believed in it. They all like to believe in Jew and Gentile already makes you religious because the whole concept of a Jew and being a Jew and everyone else being not a Jew is from Judaism. Otherwise, you're just people. To be like, well, we're these people, you're those people. Like that is a religious idea. And you can't have settlers and to the holy. You can't have a holy land without a holy, and you don't have holy anything without religion. Right. And I'm not saying religion's bad. I'm saying that religion is bad.
Right.
That
No, I
one
hear
is
you.
a bad religion.
I think most religions cause a lot of bullshit, a lot of war, a lot of
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I
feel
think the
like
state does that. Like the state will take whatever has power, like Christianity, Islam, or whatever, and then you weaponize it to justify state conquest. Kill, collect, and convert. Islam's
and
guilty of it. They colonize a bunch of people. Christianity's guilty of it. Manifest destiny, all that. But it's more like I said, religion is as religion does. Because during those times, you had people like the Quakers that did not agree with war at all. You had sects of Sufi Islam, same thing. But you know, the the net result has been war and murder. Burning. You can't burn a witch unless you believe witches exist, right?
right,
Like
right.
without religion, that could not happen. You can still have murder, but you wouldn't have witch burnings because you wouldn't have witches.
You wouldn't have a lot of shit. Yeah, yeah. Well, exactly. That's a great point, Ryan.
Yeah, you wouldn't mutilate children's penises by the tens of
Yeah.
millions. That's still happening. Like that is from religion. And some people, it's aesthetic. Then let it be his choice.
Yeah.
Don't do it to a baby. What happened to my body, my choice? Why are you
Right.
circumcising a kid? Huh? Tell
The
that to
logic.
feminists.
The
Like,
logic. No logic. No logic.
I know
Well,
it.
I had, I had a whole bunch of things I wanted to talk to you about. But if you gotta get, if you want to get going, that's cool. But can we hook back up tomorrow?
Sure. We can
Around
hook back right after this fight, even. Getting buzzed about it.
Well, no,
I like the
I'd
Tates. I'm friends with them. I want to see this fight, but
if it's cool with you, can we do tomorrow? That'd be better for me.
tomorrow this time.
Yeah,
Yep, that sounds perfect, man.
cool. Okay. Before you go, enjoy your fight. It's pleasure to finally meet you face to face.
I love the Batman Christmas sweater.
Thanks, man. I
It's
appreciate
awesome.
it.
Batman's a great mythology too. Like that is, I like the
Well, like,
Gotham story.
yeah, there's I mean, didn't his great grandfather start the Freemasons? I think it was his grandfather or his great grandfather started the Freemasons. A lot of interesting shit behind the Batman. Um, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the Batman. That's the
the
right.
Batman.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
So obviously, you're rooting for Tate.
I actually,
Is
yeah, I
he?
want him to win, but I want it to be a good fight because I want Misfits boxing to do well. Because I feel like this with UFC and with boxing stuff, they don't have enough competition. I want the fighter salaries to go up.
Gotcha.
So the better this does, and the more options fighters have, the more they'll get paid. So if Tate's organization does well, and they have a really great fight, in whoever wins, as long as it's like a real boxing match and people, tune in and
Yeah.
the promotion does well, that's good for everybody. Because there's a lot of boxers now that if you're not in the top, you're out. And it's even worse for MMA because in MMA, like if you're not a top guy, you're not getting paid enough to even do your camp because they
Right.
know you have nowhere else to go. There's no like Affliction or Bellator or any of that. It's like basically UFC or nothing. And in the East, you could go to one fighting, whatever. But
Oh,
Pride is gone, so they don't have a real competitor. Not really. So their salaries are shit. If you don't get fight of the night, it's not worth doing. And I feel like a lot of athletes that would do very well at MMA don't even bother because the risk is so high of, unless you're the champ, you're not really making money. So they don't do it. So I want Misfits boxing to do well. And yeah, I want Tate to win. If he doesn't win, it doesn't matter to me. I just don't want it to be like a shitty, sloppy fight.
yeah, yeah,
Like, that'd be the worst.
yeah. Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
enjoy it, Ryan. Great to see you. We will hook up tomorrow. So everyone watching, listening, tune
It's
in for
not
the
a knocking Chase Demore either. I just don't know him, and I know the other one. I'm just being biased, but
yeah. No, no,
I
no.
needed to be a fight. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, everyone, tune in tomorrow for the rest of the interview with Ryan.
Just talk
Yeah,
Venezuela tomorrow. Because that one's
yeah,
coming.
we're going to talk Venezuela, Trump, DOJ. I'd like to talk a bit of everything. Some Epstein. We got some Epstein docs and photos.
That's supposed to come out today. We'll see.
It's going to be released. So yeah, a lot that I'd like to talk
That's
to you
actually
about.
good timing because we'll see what they release.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it's going to be a bunch of blacked out pages, but
yeah.
I'm pretty black pilled on Epstein. I put so much time into that, and they didn't listen. Like I have the list. It's just sitting here. I got his list right here.
That's
And
the
not that one. This one. They look the same.
yeah. Sorry, what is it? What have you compiled?
His clients. I got them all. I literally like that map is a bunch of them right there. That white thing on my door.
Your map? Yeah, I know about your map. Yeah. That's cool,
But there's a lot more in this notebook, and no one's asked me, hey, go through that. Like they're all scared. I'm like, okay, well, maybe tomorrow it won't matter. Maybe it'll all come out. We'll see.
Well, we got lots to talk about tomorrow, Ryan. Super excited.
Sounds good, man. Guys, tune into this tomorrow.
Yeah, everyone tune in tomorrow. And yeah, Ryan, you enjoy the rest of your night, and we will talk tomorrow. Okay, my friend?
Right. It's morning here, but gotcha. Yeah. See ya.
Okay.